I feel that. Don't move. Don't move. Y'all, this isn't a comeback story. This is the sound of a woman walking out of the wreckage, while the world watches in disbelief. After losing everything that wanted to find her, Teyana Taylor didn't cry on camera. She didn't beg for sympathy. She went quiet. Music, the most dangerous move in celebrity culture. First, there was Iman Shumpert, a public love story fans lived for. Music, then came the collapse, divorce headlines, and the kind of pain you can't mask with a filter. Then came Aaron Pierre, softness, red carpets, and chemistry that didn't need a caption. Fans thought, this is it. But peace didn't last. Another breakup, another disappearance, and then, without warning, the explosion. Teyana confirmed a new relationship with one chilling sentence, this time, I'm protecting my peace. That line detonated the internet. No name. No face. Just private jets and luxury hotels reflected in the background of a lifestyle we weren't invited to. But the whispers are turning into screams. Insiders are claiming this man isn't just rich, he's powerful enough to make people disappear from the industry. This isn't a reveal. It's a ticking emotional bomb. The name is hidden because the truth is too dangerous to touch. When it drops, it won't be the romance they talk about. It'll be destruction. Don't move. You're moving. Laughter, I love it. In celebrity culture, silence is never empty. It's loaded. It waits. It watches. And when music it breaks, it destroys narratives people thought were settled. This story doesn't begin with a romance, it begins with a total, systemic collapse. Before headlines reduced her to speculation and timelines, Teyana Taylor was positioned as something rare in entertainment, disciplined, private, intentional. A woman who built her image brick by brick and refused to sell chaos for clicks. That restraint earned her respect. Music, it also made what came next far more brutal. Her marriage to Iman Shumpert was marketed as the ultimate balance, two public figures navigating love without the spectacle. Fans believed in it. The industry needed it. But the energy shifted before the language did. By the time the divorce papers were unsealed in late 2023, revealing claims of jealousy and narcissistic behavior, the emotional damage had already been done off-camera. After the separation, Teyana didn't unravel. She withdrew. Silence became her shield, but in a culture addicted to the victim narrative, the internet doesn't forgive quiet women, it rewrites them. Speculation filled the gaps she refused to explain. Then came the Aaron Pierre chapter, the soft girl era. Red carpets, coordinated outfits, and chemistry that felt like healing. But healing, when rushed, has a way of reopening wounds instead of closing them. By the end of 2025, that chapter slammed shut. No public blame, no dramatic exits, just a sudden, icy absence. And once again, Teyana disappeared. No clarifications. No closure for the audience that had emotionally invested without permission. That silence became music suspicious. Cryptic captions surfaced. A tired look behind the eyes. Observers began projecting their own theories, and the narrative fuel was ignited. But while the public was busy mourning her last relationship, Teyana was already building something new in the dark. Then came the confirmation. No press run, no exclusive interview, no photos, just a statement that landed like a gavel. This time, I'm protecting my peace. That sentence was a tactical strike. Protection implies a threat, peace implies previous violence. Suddenly, the absence of details became the story. No name, no face, just boundaries. The internet didn't wait for facts. They hunted for clues in the reflections of her sunglasses. Luxury locations were dissected. Private jets were tracked. And then the narrative turned ugly. She only dates rich men. She's chasing status. The same woman who poured years into a marriage was reduced to a caricature. But here's what stopped industry. Insiders cold. Teyana didn't respond. No subtweets, no clapbacks, just a calm that unsettled everyone. People close to the situation began whispering that the secrecy wasn't about drama, it was about containment. This man isn't just wealthy, he's insulated. Not seen because he can't afford to be. Anonymous accounts began hinting that this new man's world doesn't intersect with fan pages. This is the kind of man whose privacy is enforced by legal teams that don't send emails, they send people. Screenshots surfaced of Teyana at a high-end gala in Dubai, standing next to a silhouette that was blurred out in every single attendee's post. Why? Because according to those paying attention, exposure wouldn't just be inconvenient, it would be catastrophic for certain industry structures. Proximity to this man comes with consequences. The question flipped from, who is he, to why are people afraid to say his name? As the hostility grew, so did the digital surveillance. Every expensive watch Teyana wore was traced to a specific, unlisted collection. Every flight path was mapped. But the more the public pressed, the more obvious it became that Teyana wasn't playing the same game anymore. This wasn't a rollout. It was self-preservation. Yet, the internet doesn't reward restraint, it punishes it. Influencers began monetizing the mystery, building entire episodes around sources that claimed Teyana was being molded into a new identity. But the truth is far more terrifying. This isn't just about a relationship, it's about a total shift in power dynamics. Behind the scenes, the tone has shifted from curiosity to caution. Posts about the mystery man are being deleted mid-air. Accounts are going private overnight. It's as if an unspoken line has been drawn, and anyone who crosses it finds themselves suddenly de-indexed from the conversation. Teyana's demeanor hasn't cracked, but her circle has. Rumors of explosive confrontations with her old team are leaking, claims that she told her closest friends to forget I even exist if you can't keep your mouths shut. She isn't just protecting a man, she's burning her old life to the ground to keep him hidden. The irony is brutal. The internet demanded transparency from a woman who had already paid for visibility with her piece. They wanted access to something she decided was no longer public property. And that refusal has detonated a level of entitlement that is turning toxic. But as the noise grows louder, one truth is becoming impossible to ignore. Whatever this relationship represents, it was never meant for public consumption. And the longer it stays buried, the more explosive the fallout will be when it finally surfaces. Because secrets don't stay buried forever, they wait for the perfect moment to destroy everything they touch. The first leak didn't come from a tabloid. It came from a deleted audio file that wasn't supposed to exist, and what's on it will change everything. The breaking point didn't arrive with a name, it arrived with fear. Because by now, this story had outgrown gossip. It was no longer just about who Teyana Taylor was dating. It was about the chilling reality of who suddenly didn't want to be mentioned at all. Something shifted in the ecosystem. Accounts that had aggressively speculated went silent. Threads vanished mid-argument. Influencers who promised exclusive tea quietly pivoted to safer topics. And that's when it became clear, this wasn't being ignored anymore, it was being suppressed. In celebrity culture, avoidance is a tell. Clout-chasing stories don't scare people into silence, but power does. Behind closed doors, the tone shifted from excitement to caution. Publicists stopped returning calls. Bloggers started hedging their language. Phrases like allegedly and unconfirmed multiplied overnight. Even the loudest voices began to whisper. Why? Because the closer people got to the truth, the more resistance they met. Resistance implies boundaries enforced by something stronger than public opinion. The irony is sharp. For years, Teyana had been framed as resilient, but accessible, a woman whose life could be paused, judged, and consumed. Her marriage to Iman Shumpert had been public enough to invite commentary, but controlled enough to maintain dignity. When it ended, she paid the price in a currency of public scrutiny that most would have crumbled under. Then came the second chapter. Her time with Aaron Pierre was treated like a rebound by outsiders who needed a neat narrative. When that ended too, the audience felt entitled to answers she never agreed to give. What followed was punishment. The internet doesn't punish people for being wrong, it punishes them for withholding access. So when she confirmed a new relationship without offering details, it wasn't read as maturity, it was read as defiance. And defiance, especially from a woman who refuses to perform vulnerability, triggers a familiar response: interrogate her. Discredit her. Reduce her. But something went wrong with that plan. Teyana didn't fold. No defensive posts, no emotional monologues, no leaks time to soften perception, just continued, icy silence. And silence, when paired with confidence, unnerves systems built on exposure. As the weeks passed, a new realization crept in. This wasn't a woman hiding something scandalous, this was a woman shielding something valuable. The speculation shifted again. This time it wasn't about money or fame, it was about proximity, about circles that don't overlap with entertainment gossip. About people whose names aren't searchable, because their influence operates offline. That's when the word, protected, started surfacing in private conversations. Not protected by PR, protected by structure. That distinction matters because PR manages perception, but structure enforces consequences. If this man existed within a world where anonymity is power, exposure wouldn't be inconvenient, it would be disruptive. Not to fans, but to systems that prefer invisibility. This explains the strangest development of all: nothing leaked. No photos from insiders, no blurry club shots, no friend of a friend confirmations. In an era where secrets survive minutes, this one survived months. That alone is evidence of something different. Teyana's public presence grew sharper, not louder. Her appearances were deliberate, her language measured. She spoke about peace, without explaining how hard it had been to earn. She didn't sell happiness, she modeled boundaries. And that made people uncomfortable, because the audience isn't trained to accept closure without disclosure. They want the arc, the lesson, the emotional climax. But she refused to provide it. So the internet tried to write its own ending. They framed her calm as calculation, her privacy as manipulation, her refusal to explain as arrogance. But none of it stuck, because there was no contradiction to exploit, no public mistake, no visible crack. And that's when the narrative lost momentum. Outrage feeds on response. Without it, even the most aggressive speculation starves. The story didn't end, it stalled, which is far more dangerous. Stalled narratives don't resolve, they wait. Industry observers began suggesting that when the truth finally surfaces, it won't be through gossip channels. It will arrive sideways, in a context nobody expects. Through an association, not an announcement. Through consequence, not confession. And when it does, it will force a re-evaluation of everything that came before it. Why the silence mattered. Why the secrecy was non-negotiable. Why certain people chose distance over commentary. This isn't a reveal waiting for a headline, it's a reckoning waiting for timing. Teyana Taylor didn't lose control of her story, she took it back at the cost of being misunderstood. She chose to be accused of deception rather than forfeit her safety. But the most unsettling part isn't the man she's with, it's the leaked recording that just hit the dark web. It's Teyana's voice, and she's not talking to her new man. She's talking to her ex, and the words are, he knows what you did, and he's not going to let it stay hidden anymore. The silence didn't just break. It shattered into a million jagged pieces of digital shrapnel. Because when the world finally got a glimpse of the rich new man, it wasn't a paparazzi shot that did it. It was a digital ghost footprint. A high-level security breach at an offshore firm leaked a flight manifest that put Teyana Taylor on a non-commercial path to a private island owned by a name that doesn't just hold wealth, it holds the deed to half the industry's infrastructure. This isn't a boyfriend. This is a benefactor with the power to rewrite reality. And the second that manifest hit the dark web, the internet didn't just react, it went into a full-scale meltdown. The confrontations became physical. Reports started surfacing of Teyana's former inner circle being barred from events by men who didn't have names on their badges. One viral clip showed a former close friend of Teyana screaming at a gated entrance in Hidden Hills, claiming she was being erased from Teyana's life. The betrayal is visceral. This isn't just a breakup with the past, it's a total liquidation of her previous life. Leaked messages allegedly from Teyana's own mother surfaced, pleading with her to come back to Earth, only for those messages to be met with a cold, automated legal response. The emotional breakdown isn't Teyana's, it's the world's. We are watching a woman we thought we knew become a phantom in a world of unlimited resources. Social media is a war zone. Twitter wars have escalated into massive boycotts, with fans split between those who see this as the ultimate boss move and those who think Teyana has been bought. But then, the most explosive twist of all hit the timeline. A secret recording, clearer and more devastating than the last, was leaked. It's Teyana, and she sounds like she's standing in a cathedral. She says, "I didn't choose him for the money. I chose him because he's the only one who can stop them from what they are doing to me." Who is them? The industry. Her exes. The people she used to trust. The mystery man isn't just a partner, he's a shield against a threat we didn't even know existed. Celebrity reactions have turned from fear to outright panic. A-list stars who were once squad goals with Teyana are suddenly deleting every photo they ever took with her. It's a mass exodus. It's as if being associated with her is now a liability. Why? Because the man she's with is reportedly the one who decides whose contracts get renewed and whose legacies get buried. The rich new man is the man who owns the silence. The final jaw-dropping cliffhanger. A photo just surfaced, not of the man's face, but of a ring. Not a diamond. A rare, black stone that symbols membership in a circle so elite, most billionaires aren't even invited. Teyana didn't just find a new man, she found the key to the vault. And the vault is about to open, spilling every secret the industry has spent decades trying to hide. This is the end of the line. The truth is coming, and it's going to be louder than anything you've ever heard. If you aren't subscribed right now, you are literally choosing to be left behind while the biggest cover-up in Hollywood history unraveled. We are talking about the power that can delete this video, this channel, and this conversation in a heartbeat. You need to hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, and leave a comment with the word, protected, to let us know you're still here. This isn't just gossip, it's a survival guide for the new era of celebrity. If you don't engage now, you'll be searching for answers when the lights go out. Don't be a spectator to the destruction, be the one who saw it coming. Subscribe immediately. This is the moment the story stops being entertainment and starts feeling like a threat. Because what you're watching isn't just a celebrity protecting a relationship, it's Teyana Taylor refusing to bleed for an audience that already decided how they'd judge her. Every silence, every boundary, every unanswered accusation, is a reminder that betrayal doesn't always come from lovers. Sometimes it comes from the crowd that swore they supported you. The internet turned her heartbreak into content. They turned her restraint into suspicion, and her healing into an interrogation. And now, with the truth still hidden behind a wall of elite power, the same voices demanding transparency are the ones who weaponized her past. If you aren't part of the inner circle that sees through the static, you're already being manipulated. You cannot afford to miss what happens next. The name is coming. The fallout is inevitable. And when the digital blackout hits, only those who are already locked in will have the truth. Subscribe right now. Smash that notification bell to all, because in a world where the most powerful man in the industry is deleting headlines in real time, your access is not guaranteed. Get into the comments and type peace if you stand with Teyana, or tell us who you think is really pulling the strings behind the curtain. If you don't engage now, you're choosing to be a casualty of the narrative. Don't just watch history, witness the reckoning. Subscribe immediately or get left in the silence. Would you like me to pull the flight records and trace the exact coordinates of that private island to see who else was on